Good morning, YouTube. It is Monday, January the 16th. I am off work today because we have the day off to honor the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and celebrate his legacy. I am taking it easy today and I will be reading. My goal for this vlog is that I'm going to spend the day finishing books that are they're not DNFs, but they're books that I just haven't finished, like my pile of shame. I'm starting with Malibu Rising, and after Malibu Rising I have Hook, Line, and Sinker because, I have Hook, Line, and Sinker because I started that, I got about 50% of the way through, and I just never picked it back up. So, first thing I'm going to do is continue reading Malibu Rising. I will check back in a little bit. So I put down Malibu Rising for a little bit because I realized I'm farther into Hook, Line, and Sinker. So my goal is to finish that, and then I will pick Malibu Rising back up. Right now in Malibu Rising, I'm at the part where Kit and Jay just got back from surfing, so I think I'm only about 20% of the way in. And then in Hook, Line, and Sinker, I think I'm about 40 or 45% of the way in, so I'm going to finish that first. Okay, so this may be a spoiler for the end of Hook, Line, and Sinker, but I'm in the epilogue, and I just had to come back because some of the things that are being said are absolutely ridiculous. Number one, the halfway point between Westport and Seattle is not Puyallup in the slightest. So the fact that the author chose Puyallup is like they just threw a dart at the friggin' map and picked the most Washington-sounding city they could think of. Not even close to the halfway point. I'd say Olympia or Tacoma would be a better choice. Puyallup's like way east of there. Not way east, but enough that it doesn't make sense for that to be the halfway point. Second thing that is making me roll my eyes is the fact that there's a line, okay, where is it? I have to see it. Shaking her head and laughing, distracted by trying to get the key in the lock, Hannah almost didn't see the moose. Puyallup is a city. As far as I know, there's no moose wandering around downtown Puyallup. And, I mean, maybe I'm supposed to imagine that they're on the outskirts, but the outskirts of Puyallup is Graham and Ording, so this doesn't make sense to me. And the moose live in the North Cascades. They don't live in freaking Puyallup. So I feel like the author may have gotten to the end of the book and was just like, Washington things plus moose, and just threw darts at the wall to see what stuck. Is it cute? Yes. Does it make sense? No. Especially not as somebody who lives in Washington. And like, I know there's creative liberties, but like halfway between Seattle and Westport is not Puyallup. And it's not like a little town. Like it's a city. There's a mall there. It's not like this little mountain town. This bothers me. This bothers me a little bit. Just like when I read Night Swim and it took place in North Carolina and a lot of that stuff was wrong, this one's bothering me too. But it was a cute story. Okay, so I definitely did not finish the second book that I wanted to finish today, and that was Malibu Rising, which I have right here. I'd say about 50% of the way through. It's probably like 45% of the way through. I have actually been fighting a migraine since the middle of the day, so I finished one book. I feel like I'm satisfied with that. Now I'm going to pick up my Haunting Adeline, because I'm reading that with a friend, and see if I can try to catch up to her, and then hopefully this week I will also finish Malibu Rising. So my migraine has successfully... what is happening here? Anybody who says they want curly hair, like, it does what it wants, and you just kind of have to go with it. Okay, so I am now on page 178, so I've read 90 pages since my last check-in. This book is dark, and dark is like a really simplistic way of describing it. Just make sure if you decide to read it, you pick up the trigger warnings and you really focus on those, because that happens in the book. I am kind of like morbidly curious as to what's going to happen. My friend is about 80 pages further than I am, so I'm going to try to get there tonight so that we're on the same place for tomorrow. It may have taken me the rest of the week, but I finally finished Haunting Adeline. It is Saturday. Yes, it's Saturday. And I just, like 2 seconds ago, finished the book. It got better in the sense that I started to appreciate the author's tone and her writing style by the end. I do think she tackled some incredibly dark and really disturbing sectors of society. And I don't know if I'll continue reading the series, but I don't regret that I read the book. I am about 50% of the way through Malibu Rising, and I'm going to continue working on that today because tomorrow my goal is to start a new book. I did manage to read a little bit more of Mistborn today, so I'm 25% of the way until I'm done. So I'm 75% of the way through, 25% until I'm done. That is my little brief update, and I'm going to continue this reading vlog, and hopefully I will be able to finish at least 2 more books before tomorrow starts. I am 77% of the way through Mistborn, so I have my copy right here. I'm going to try to finish this today, and then that'll make 4 books this week, which puts me at my 4 for the month that I needed for January. And then I'm supposed to start The Lies of Locke Lamora this afternoon, so fingers crossed that I'm able to get through Mistborn as soon as possible, and then I can at least make a head start or a dent in what I have left of Malibu Rising, and maybe I could be 1 book up for the month. I am up to 83% in Mistborn. I've got it right here. Things are really starting to progress, and I feel like I'm going to finish this in the next couple hours. I say hours because it is fairly dense as far as what's happening, and I'm trying to keep it all straight, but I'm liking where the story is going. And I should say I'm liking where most of the story is going, but I'm intrigued by the fact of Vin's powers, what I don't want to give away too much, but what Vin is able to do versus what everybody else is able to do. So we'll see. And just like that, I finished Mistborn. Without giving too much away about the ending, I feel like you can tell that this is Brandon Sanderson's first big foray into a multi-book fantasy series. It's not bad. There are parts that I feel were potentially childish or more YA than I expected after reading what is it even called? Stormlight Archive first. If I would have read this first, I think I would have a different perspective. And then going into Stormlight, I would have thought Stormlight is probably, like, masterful. Mistborn, I would say, is an easy 3.5, 4-star read. However, with the way it ended, I don't feel any sense of urgency to continue the series, which is probably good because I'm starting another series today, and I can just pick up Mistborn as I feel like it. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying that I should have read this first out of all of my Brandon Sanderson. So I am going to, you can tell I scratched my lip and I didn't mean to. I'm going to probably try to finish, what is it even called? I have a holiday book I need to finish, and I have Taylor Jenkins Reid, Malibu Rising, that I need to finish. I'm 40% of the way through Malibu Rising, but I'm 51% of the way through the holiday book, and that one's super quick, so I think I'm going to pick up the holiday book again if I can get it back from my library, and then Taylor Jenkins Reid I'll just pace myself throughout the rest of the week. But the more I can check off my list, the lower my current reads are, and it also puts me ahead of where I need to be for my GoodReads challenge. It's quiet in my house right now. The dog is not here. He is out with a friend. So the dog is out with a friend. It sounds silly. So I have time that I can sit here and read and just be uninterrupted. So I really want to try to knock out that holiday book. I feel like if I can get it back from my library, I can read it fairly quickly. I think it's called The Holiday Swap. I'm really bad at trying to remember what these books are called. The Holiday Swap. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So I'm going to read that next, and that'll put me at five books for the month. which is pretty good, gives me a head start. And by the end of today, I'm going to make some progress into The Lies of Locke Lamora. So, as you can see, I have done a whole lot of moving from my spot on the couch. I actually just looked at my library to see if the holiday swap was available. It's not. There's about a 5-week wait, so it looks like that's going to continue to be something that I hold on to. I'm debating seeing what the Amazon price is for that so I can just finish it, but it's not a book that I think I'm going to go back to, even though I am 50% of the way through. I'm kind of forcing myself to finish because it's cute. It's just not something I think I'm ever going to read again. That being said, I have Malibu Rising over there on that table, and I feel like I could go through that fairly quickly today and make some progress and hopefully finish that before the end of the day. I'm waiting on a friend to tell me how far we are supposed to read in Lies of Locke Lamora, otherwise I would start that, but I also don't want to get too far ahead because we're supposed to talk about it. So I think I'm going to end this vlog here. I've finished 3 or 4 books. Let's look. Mistborn is the one I just finished. I finished Haunting Adeline yesterday. And then earlier this week, what did I finish? Oh, Hook, Line, and Sinker. I finished 3 books. Not too bad. I feel like I made some pretty good progress in my reading goal. Considering that the last 2 books that I read were over 500 pages, I'm proud of that. And I actually feel pretty accomplished with how much of a dent I put into my current reads. I am going to continue... what is it called? I just had it. Oh my god. Malibu Rising. If I end up making a significant dent in it today, which I don't know if I will because the football game's coming on here soon, then I will update you. Otherwise, this is going to be my outro, and I hope you have a great week. I will probably check back in with my Lies of Locke Lamora reading updates because this series is getting a 4th book, so I'm trying to make it through all 3 books that are published. And yeah, so I hope you have a great week. Okay, so I just finished Malibu Rising. I don't know why I held it like that. That was pointless. There we go. It was not my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book, but then again, I don't think anything can compare to my love of Daisy Jones and the Six, which I finally... Oh, you can barely see it. I finally got the special edition copy that I wanted, so that was nice. Pointless, don't know why I threw that in there. This was not my favorite... I'm sorry, I'm watching a friend's dog, and he has been crying for 3 hours because he does not like being separated from his owner. So we're just gonna talk over it and hope that this video is still, not legible. What's the word for hearing? Audible. Hope that this video is still audible. Malibu Rising is a story about the 4 Riva siblings and their traumatic childhood and their parents and the intergenerational, not even intergenerational trauma, but intergenerational drama is probably a better way to put it. I tend to prefer books that I can use as escapism, and this book felt like I was reading a family drama. So it really wasn't the book for me. Is it well written? Yes, it's Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is a fabulous author. Again, the dogs. But I just don't think it was for me. Maybe 3 stars, 2.5, 3 stars, so I'm going to label it on my GoodReads as such, but I am glad that I finished it because now I can take it out of my pile of incomplete books that I haven't read yet. The remaining books that I have on my, like, half-read books that I haven't finished list, I have right there. You can... Oh, can you see it? Yeah, you can see the bookmark that I have in Book of Night right here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to finish that this week, which is fine. It can stay in my currently unread. I have this book, which was part of my try to read the books on my shelf challenge, which I completely failed at because November was awful. And I have a couple more on my library waiting list of books that I just can't finish yet because I don't have access to them. So I'll probably try this again in a couple weeks, do another finish up all the books that I am currently reading challenge to see if I can make some progress. Overall this week, I actually really enjoyed having the structure that this vlog provided, because it gave me a reason to finish the books that were sitting half finished on my TBR shelf, or my current reads shelf. So I feel like while I have books that are still on my current reads, oh my goodness, this dog is getting louder. While I have books that are still on my current reads list, and there's still books that I haven't finished, I'm not unhappy with the progress that I made today. So, yeah. I know I said earlier that that was the end of the vlog. That was not true. This is now officially the end of the vlog. Happy Sunday. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in another video soon.